Hey guys, PCG here, and we have some awesome news for you. We were able to catch up with some of the cast and crew from Neighbor Film, and all you have to do is stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss this one.
Don't ask me questions, 'cause I'm tired of confessing, and I know that it's not much to say, but
My name is Tony Gapastione, and I am a writer and director in the Bay Area, California, and I am doing a film called Neighbor. And Neighbor is about a homeless man who witnesses some girls being harassed, and when he goes after the perpetrator, he uncovers a dirty little secret in suburbia, and that secret is human trafficking. I want to go and share it with people. I want to talk. I want to enlighten people, make them aware. I also want to take the film and put it in the hands of all these anti-trafficking organizations, community development organizations, schools, and educate people, especially students and people who are vulnerable. Because those who are vulnerable, those who are in impoverished areas, those who are in challenging family situations, those are the type of people that are going to be targeted by these traffickers, and I want to bring awareness to that.
So, when Tony told me about the premise of his film, I was actually in shock, and I'm the type of person that I don't really think these kinds of things happen for no reason. The day before I talked to Tony and had lunch with him, I had parked on an upper level of Sundance parking lot, and there was this guy there, and he was cleaning his truck, and he stopped me and started asking me all these questions that were quite obvious because of all the signs around the Sundance area. And, I talked to him a little bit, just being the kind person that I am, and then he asked me for a hug, and I told him I wasn't comfortable with it. Then he pursued to tell me to take alcohol out of his car, and then I just pretended that my cell phone was ringing and went on my way. Well, the next day, I decided to park on the second level above that just to be safe. And he was parked right next to me after my shift. Literally right next to me. Same car, same guy. Pretended I was on my cell phone, but that could have been an instance of human trafficking. Now, I don't know for sure, but he was showing a lot of the signs. Luckily, I called it in.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So, how did each of you meet Tony and land your roles?
I met Tony through a mutual friend. Her name is Anjelah, and she connected us via email, and she sent me the script and said, you should read this, and I think you should be a part of it. And then when I found out it had the human trafficking message behind it, I was definitely on board because that's something that's near and dear to my heart. And my husband and I sit on the board of an anti-human trafficking organization ourselves. So it's pretty powerful that I was like, yeah, of course, this makes sense to be a part of this project. So that's how I met Tony. And then my character, I play one of the next door neighbors, and we're just... we're neighbors that are almost like family, like very close and loving of each other. I'm pregnant. I'm about to have my first child, and my neighbors, they have 3 kids. So I feel like I've watched and learned from them for the past few years that my husband and I have been living there.
That's awesome. Hey, Dev. So, how did you land your role, and how did Tony notice you?
Saw a film that I was in. Something about my role spoke to him, and he reached out to the producers who were representing the film, and he got my contact information and reached out to me, and we ended up having a few conversations on the phone, and then we Skyped a couple times, and he blew me away just by him being himself.
I'm glad that you guys were able to connect. He really is an awesome guy. Hey, Bruce, so can you tell me a little bit more about your role in Neighbor Film?
Well, I play Larry. I play the homeless guy who happens to witness the crime. And probably a lot of, homeless guys witness a lot of crimes, but he witnesses the human trafficking incident and decides to do something about it. But because of the way his outer appearance doesn't really show his inner life, people don't listen to him. They kind of shy away from him. So he has a problem, like even just getting someone to call the police, which would be the quickest thing that usually would happen. If you saw something like that, you would jump on the phone and report it. But he doesn't have a phone, and he can't get a phone, and he's been beaten up. So he ends up cutting through their neighbor's backyard. Imagine if your kids are playing in the backyard and a homeless guy, and if you saw my homeless guy.
You must have really had a good makeup artist on set when you can't recognize yourself.
I would see my character in the mirror. I would be shocked. I would look up and go, whoa, who is that guy? So he had that kind of look, blood coming out of his nose, the scars on his face. And so they're shocked. And immediately she's telling me, like, no, you picked the wrong backyard to come into. And the story takes off from there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Anjelah, do you feel like your character related to you in any particular way? I know that this was a little bit of a different role compared to what you're used to. You're an excellent comedian, and this is totally different. So how was it?
The character, she's pregnant and excited to be a mother, and all of those are completely opposite of me. No kids and no desire to be a mom. So that was something that I was like, whoa, I need to get in touch with this. I need to really, really think about this. And even as an actor, just shifting my mind frame and just Google imaging pictures of like pregnant women and their joy and happiness and trying to just like be in their shoes and just like vision it and see it and be a part of it. So there was a lot of things that were opposite of who I am. But I think one thing that was true to me as a person was just her strength. And when she comes out face to face with this homeless guy who had jumped over the fence and just confronts him like face to face, I feel like that is something that I definitely would do and put myself in a situation that may not be wise, but where my inner strength would come out, even if I can't back it up with my 2 classes of Krav Maga fighting.
Well, yeah, for me, it was pretty easy to step in the role. I mean, I'm the happy-go-lucky neighbor. And her husband, she's always fun to play with. You know, I've stepped on set and I suddenly had a kid on my back and 2 kids on my legs, and I'm playing Frankenstein in the yard. And it was very easy for me to step in that role. I like kids.
Yeah, it was a good fit for him. You can see the joy in the kids. Like, you can tell when kids are happy. You know, they have that quality about them. It's almost, I was telling him the other night, it's almost like a dog. They can't hide. They either like you or they don't.
Uh-huh.
And they loved him. So.
Oh, that's so cute. I'm glad they loved him. So, Bruce, what made you want to audition for the role of Larry?
Things. Externally, there was the character. I was interested in the character because immediately, he didn't say this, but immediately I thought, oh, this guy's a homeless detective. And I thought, well, that's a character that hasn't been played. I mean, I think of, it brought me back to, did you ever see the movie Devil in the Blue Dress? And do you remember how Walter, the lead character, he wasn't a detective. He was just a guy trying to save his house. But he was kind of a reluctant detective, and that's what he turned into. He bumped into the clue that solved the whole thing. And I felt like, oh, well, this is a step lower than that. This guy doesn't have a home, but he has that same vein. He's a detective. He's an inexperienced detective. So I like that. And I play with characters like that. And I thought, ooh, man, I could use this. And as a person, what I liked about it was when I was in school, they asked us, why do you act? And I always said, I act to help. And I always wanted to, when I got out of school, I planned to, I'll work for the studios and I'll give back. And so I saw that opportunity and I like things, I like art that says something. And I thought, wow, well, what can you say better than to shine a light on human trafficking? And so that's what attracted me to it.
And Army vets.
And Army vets, exactly. And just anyone who's not looked at in life. And because he's homeless, we tend to, you give out a little money when you go to 7-Eleven, and after you give out a couple, you're like, I don't want to give out anymore. You kind of walk by, you shy your eyes away. But at the same time, that's still a human being.
Right.
And I thought if I could bring some kind of inner life to this person, then, why not try?
Definitely. And what do you guys want the audience to pull from it? Like, what do you want them at the end of the day to learn?
I would want the audience to learn to open your eyes to your surroundings and seeing what's right in front of you. And in our scene together where it's very confrontational, my character is just on the defense and protect mode, which is good. She's protecting children, she's protecting herself, her family, her friends, but at the same time, she's not taking a second to actually hear, listen, be in the moment, understand what's happening, but just being led by her emotions. And I think this character is blinded by her emotions in many ways. So I would want the audience to learn to be able to put their emotions aside and actually see the truth of the situation of what's happening.
For sure, and that's really awesome that you would do that. That says a lot about you. And what about you,
As far
Doug?
as my character is concerned, I think I'm just a piece of the puzzle. I'd like people just to take away just the general story of the film. You know, I'm just one part of this story. I mean, if I had to focus on just my character, recognize what's really important in this world, fight for what you believe in, and if you ever find yourself inauthentic, know that you have the ability and the strength to correct those things and be authentic in the end.
Absolutely.
Don't judge a book by its cover. Just to acknowledge the humanity in everyone. I mean, not every homeless person you see is a criminal. Maybe they drink a little bit, but some of them really are concerned about the welfare of others also. They may need, but they have that concern, and I think that's important.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, not just us, but the whole crew made it comfortable to take a chance and fall on your face. Because it's a very risky business to put something on tape that's going to be there for life.
Mm-hmm.
And I need a comfortable environment in which to take that chance. Because I'm shy. And so when I have that environment, I'm like, well, all right, I'm going to jump. I don't know how I'm going to land. And he played a part in that. And just his manner, he just has that about him. And so I appreciated it. And Anjelah just cracks me up. I didn't realize I've seen her before. I still haven't put out specifically where, but I've seen her before. She made it easy for me to talk to her. She immediately had her character. She had this sass toward me where, oh, really? And the same thing, because she creates comedy immediately. I mean, there's this piece, I can't even explain it, but you did the comedy piece with Kat the other day.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I don't know, it just makes the environment very, very welcome.
That's so awesome that it was so comfortable. And that actually rolls into my next question. Do you guys each have a compliment for one another?
Well, I would say with these guys are so talented that they really put me in check, like made me make sure I was bringing my A game just by watching them and being around them. Just such talented people, and as well as our other actors that were working with us, Corinne and Paul, really talented people. So I would just watch them in the scene and be like, yes, like they would draw something out of me that would make me want to just step it up and make sure that I was bringing my A game, just being surrounded by such talented people. So that's just the thing.
And she's super talented.
Yes, she is. All I said was, I'm drawing up you guys. It was amazing working with these guys. There was no ego on set. The camaraderie, the feeling of being a part of a team to get the story out was amazing. And we had nothing but laughs and good times the whole time. It was really wonderful. And of course, we all had, I think everyone said at one point had an experience with Anjelah. Was like, oh, that was you.
No, tell the story that you were talking about, this comedy.
She does this wonderful accent, which I'm sure everyone has heard. Mm-hmm. So we're having conversations. She does this accent, this Vietnamese accent. And I said, oh, that's so funny. I remember years ago, my brother and I were listening to something, and they were doing this thing, you're so pretty, you're my friend. And she's just looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, it was really funny. You should probably look at him. I don't know who it was. And she's like, that was me. I think we all had that experience at one point, in one way or another. But it was really a blessing to be part of this project and work with these guys.
Amen.
And everyone had a great experience with Anjelah's belly as well.
Oh,
the belly was a character in the
fun.
film. So the belly had a character role in the film.
Oh my God, Anjelah. I had to wear one of those pregnancy suits in one of my medical classes, and that thing made me feel like I had to pee all the time.
Oh, yeah, I had to pee all the time. It was so weird. this
That's
foam
like
belly,
gotta be.
and it really gets in your brain because like I had to pee like every 5 minutes. My back was hurting.
Your
Like
water broke.
I'm getting up like this. Like it was so weird how you just like as soon as it's on, I couldn't stop rubbing it. Like it was so weird, so weird.
It really was weird. Well, thank you so much for taking part in PCG's interview. Just stay tuned; it'll be up soon.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thank you.